Can we talk about maybe the final component in this mix? We've gone from fear, biology. How does money play in this? Because this is something you've talked about for 10, 20, 30 years, and it's another way to get fear based into people. How does that component, we touched on it with universal basic income, but how does that play into the end game here? How do you try to tell people to understand money and how it controls us? Because besides fear of health, it's probably the things most people are scared of. Like you said, it got people to make decisions they didn't want to make.
If we're talking about other points in this script as we move on, this is a big one. So you want to control the population. In other words, you want to take their freedom away. So what is freedom in one sense? Freedom is choice. The more choices you can make, the freer you are. The fewer choices you can make, the less free you are. And in the way that this cult has systematically structured global society, the vast number of choices that you would like to make are limited by lack of money, whether you have it or whether you don't have it. So in the end, people say, oh, these elite, these 1%, they're so greedy. Yes, they are, because they're psychopaths. But that's not the main motivation for the money system and control of money. Control of money's prime objective is control of people via control of choice. And by controlling choice, you control freedom. So with a basic income, you are in effect completely controlling choice, because you can choose not to have the basic income, but where else are you going to feed your family? And if you have it, then we're going to tell you what your choices are, and it's to do what we say. And this great reset, touted by psychopaths like Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, is fundamentally about changing global finance. So, and I've been writing about this since the 1990s. I think 1903 was the first time I wrote about it. It's to create a single world currency that will be digital. There will be no cash, which means every transaction is trackable, etc., etc. That's the idea. And so the way they work is something you might call creative destruction. This is your goal, this is your outcome, this is the status quo of the moment, whether it's financial or societal, whatever. If you're going to get from here to there, you have got to destroy there until it's got there. So let's give you an example. First World War, the complete global status quo was transformed in the First World War. Countries, borders were drawn, new countries appeared, the centralization of power increased dramatically. And so the status quo before the war became the status quo after the war. Much more centralization of power. They then played the Second World War, another destruction of this status quo. So now the status quo's come here, even more centralization of power, not least in the area of finance, World Bank, Bretton Woods Agreement, and International Monetary Fund, all of that stuff. And so all the time they're moving closer and closer by destroying the status quo and then imposing another one, then eventually destroying that and moving on. So what they want to do is want to crash the world economy. Been talking about this for a long, long time. They want to crash the world economy. Now, if you look, I mean, you know about finance, obviously, but if you look at what's happened in the COVID era, because so many things have happened, you see, it's not just the virus and the vaccine, fake vaccine. There's lots of other things that come out of this. They have hold under the waterline the global economy. It's almost, not for a lot of people, but for quite a number of people, it's basically we're in the phony war. Or even a better analogy, the ship's been hit by the missile under the waterline, but ain't quite started sinking yet to the extent that you can see it, although you're beginning to.